What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my November 2023 dividend income, where I received 12 paychecks. But to start, let's just look at my portfolio value. I feel like I'm being trolled because it's just under $53,000. I got stuck with the triple nines right here. But with that out of the way, let's go right to the activity feed where you can see my dividends. So on November 1st, I earned two dividends, $8.34 from General Mills, and then $15.53 from Verizon. So let's start with General Mills. I have just over $900. If I scroll down, I have 14.14 shares, an average share price of $58.64, and the current price $64.13. So I am down a little bit. But as you guys can see, it does have a nice starting dividend yield at 3.52%. Then next up is Verizon. I have just over $900 at 23.35 shares, average share price of $58.06, and then a current price at $38.58. So I am down quite a lot on this stock. And it does have a nice starting dividend yield though at 6.8%. And actually, I want to backtrack a little bit. So when it comes to General Mills, I'm actually up on this stock quite a bit, which is nice. I know earlier I said I was down, but just thinking about Verizon still. All right, next up, Lowe's. On November 8th, I received $2.90, which puts me at $26.77 for the month so far. So I have just over 500 bucks in Lowe's for 2.63 shares, an average price of $201.15, and then a current price of $203.92. So I'm up just a little bit. And then they have a dividend yield of 2.11%, which is a decent starting yield. However, they do have amazing dividend growth, and that's why I bought the stock. But it's also a great company as well. So next up on November 9th, I received $5.17 from Clorox, and that leaves me to $31.94 for the month. And if we go over to Clorox, I have a little over $600, 4.3 shares at an average price of $167.30. And the current price is $143.84. So I am down quite a lot on this stock. Then they have a dividend yield, 3.31%. I actually like that starting dividend yield. And I still think Clorox is a solid consumer staple stock. You always need to clean stuff. Then next up, on November 14th, I received $9.53 from Texas Instruments. This puts me at $41.47 for the month. And if we go to Texas Instruments, I have a little over $1,100 in the stock, 7.33 shares, and an average share price of $162.28. And the current price is $155.21. So a little down on this stock. They do have a great starting dividend yield of 3.23%, and they have solid dividend growth. On November 15th, I received 6 dividends, and I got $19.48 from Realty Income, and that's after selling Stag. And then I had $5.66 from Hormel, $6 from Procter and Gamble, $2.25 from Abbott, $17.23 from ABBV, and then $3.65 from Colgate. And since I only have one dividend left for the month, I'm going to go ahead and do Costco as well. But before I do Costco, at the middle of the month, November 15th, I'm at $95.74. And then Costco brought me an extra $2.74 for the month. So let's go down, look at these stocks. I've just over $4,200 in Realty Income for 77.48 shares at an average price of $56.02 and a current price at $54.60. So I'm really only down a little bit. And it does have a nice dividend yield at 5.56%. Next up, I have Hormel Foods at $644. 20.56 shares, average price $47.49, current price $31.32. So I am down a lot on this stock. And then they do have a dividend yield of 3.51%. Next up is Procter and Gamble, just under $1,000 with 6.37 shares, average price of $132.58, and then a current price of $152.66. So I am up a lot on this stock. So it really balances out with my low performers and my high performers. And they do have a starting yield at 2.54%, which is decent. Next up, Abbott Labs, one of my newer stocks, currently at $463. I have 4.41 shares at an average price of $106.69. The current price of $104.88. So just down a little bit. And their dividend yield's pretty low at 1.95%. But I do believe they have decent or pretty good dividend growth. Next is ABBV, just under $1,700, 11.64 shares. Average price $93.70 and a current price $143.41. So this stock has grown a lot. It's one of my top performers, and they have a really high dividend yield at 4.13% while still having great dividend growth. They usually increase at 10% every year. So I still think this is a great stock to own, especially in the healthcare niche. Next, we have Colgate, just under $600. I have 7.6 shares, average price of $75.10, and then a current price of $78.70. And they have a dividend yield at 2.43%. Last up, one of my favorite stocks, Costco, $1,600, 2.68 shares, average price $401.74. Current price $596.25, and then a very low dividend yield at 0.66%, but they do average around 12% or higher for dividend growth. So this is a very phenomenal company with incredible dividend growth. And then finally, we'll go to my dividend growth chart. You can see in November 2023, I earned $98.48. But if you look at the previous second month of the quarter, August, I earned $91.98. So that is a really far jump to go from $91 to $98, especially from July to October. In July, I earned $83.05. In October, I earned $84.60. So I was wondering why this happened. And if I go to my activity feed and filter for just Costco, and then clear the dates, you'll see in 2022, Costco paid in February, May, August, and November. But in 23, they switched it. They paid February, May, September, and then November. So that's a weird flop with their dividend. But at the end of the day, it all evens out at the end of the year. So I currently have $1,723.66 of dividends earned for 2023. Then if we look over here, this number, if I was to take all of my dividends from November 2023 and divide them by my expenses for November, which were a little high this month at $2,606.25, my dividends would have only paid for 3.78% of my expenses, which is pretty low. And once we get to the end of December, I'll show you guys my average percentage that my dividends would have paid versus my average expenses. But if you also take my dividend income in November and divide it by 160 hours in the month, I would have earned 62 cents an hour, which is really low. That's a horrible income. But guys, with that being said, thank you for watching this video.